All right, welcome back to Fireside Pride, y'all. I'm Mina. It's time for Metal Gear Solid Any Percent Extreme. Once again, thank you all so much to everyone who donated to help us meet that incentive. I know Nick's looking forward to showing this off.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to bantering with Nick through this run. Metal Gear Solid is one of my personal favorite games, a series that was formative to a lot of my philosophy and personal opinions, for better or worse. If you know, you know. It's a series that attracts a certain type of person for sure. But enough about me and my opinions. Nick, do you think that charity marathons can bloom even on a battlefield?
Oh, absolutely. The amount of charity marathons that have a Metal Gear featured in them, it absolutely can bloom on the battlefield. Hello, I am NickRPGreen, and this is Metal Gear Solid Extreme. Thank you to everyone who donated to get the Extreme incentive met. So instead of playing on easy difficulty, which is nice and easy, it's a fairly straightforward run on easy. Extreme really kicks it up a notch. A lot more ammo and health management. The route itself actually doesn't change. It's just there's a lot more going on, a lot more to manage. This is the integral version of the game that's included as part of last year's Master Collection release. So the technical category is Metal Gear Solid Any Percent Extreme PC 2023 and console, because there is a separate PC port that was released back in 2000, which is an awful port of the game. And if you want to play this game casually, please just play the Master Collection. Don't look into the original port because it's awful. But this version of the game is much closer. In fact, it's essentially just the original PlayStation version, just natively released on PC, and other. You can get this on PS5 and Xbox and Nintendo Switch as well. We are gonna get started. I'm going to hold L2 and R2 so we don't start an alternate round because that would be bad. We want a nice normal round. And we start as soon as I select the difficulty, which will be in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we are treated to a black loading screen. We'll skip the opening cutscene.
Beautiful song. I'm not going to hear it.
Skip the opening cutscene. And we should then have a codec to skip through. You'll notice I'm skipping through the codec there very quickly. Across most Metal Gear speedruns, we are allowed to use turbo for skipping cutscenes and skipping codecs. There's a lot of codecs in Metal Gear games, and no runners want RSI at an early age anyway. So we are allowed to use turbo for some things. So first thing we've got to do is we've got to wait for that guard over there to come over here. We are waiting for this elevator. There's an elevator just here. We've got to wait for that elevator to come down. And it is just a waiting game, but we do need to interact with this guard here. We need to disrupt his pattern. So I'm just going to do a quick knock there. He's going to walk all the way around. It's just so that when the elevator comes down, this guard isn't patrolling this area. So this just disrupts his patrol, sends it on a little bit further. I don't know why he does a full circuit of this forklift truck. It's a weird little walk that he does. But now we are just waiting for that elevator and just making sure that we don't get spotted by the guards. So I said this is the integral version of the game. Originally on the PlayStation, the integral version was only released in Japan. It's essentially Japan's director's cut of the game. It includes 3 discs, so it included all of the special missions or VR missions. Depending on where in the world you were, it was called something different. But the main thing for the Japanese audience is it only contains English dialogue. The original Japanese release did not was all of the dialogue was in Japanese, but Hideo Kojima was such a big fan of the English dub that when he did his director's cut of Integral, it only includes the English dub because he wanted his Japanese audience to experience that. The other thing that the Japanese got for the first time with this edition is difficulty levels. The original version of Metal Gear Solid for Japan there was 1 difficulty level and that was it. So at least they now got to experience it being a little bit easier in places and a little bit harder in other places. We are now up the elevator. We're about to go up the elevator and head out into the world of Shadow Moses. Shadow Moses Island. It is a nuclear weapons disposal facility. Though apparently they don't actually have a very good track record of disposing nuclear weapons. But it's been taken over by terrorists, and there are a couple of key hostages that we're supposed to rescue. But this is a speed run, so we're probably not going to bother. But you'll see more of that soon. This isn't any percent run. There are two major categories for Metal Gear Solid: any percent and all bosses. If you were playing this casually, then you would automatically be doing an all bosses run. Any percent takes a lot of liberties, and we'll find out about that soon. We're going to avoid the lights, grab a chaff grenade, and immediately throw it. That's going to disrupt this camera here. I'm going to just walk through that guard. He doesn't really care. And head into the bowels of the tank hangar. So we crawl through the vent. We're going to get a call from McDonald Miller, our old master. This is definitely McDonald Miller. 100%. No spoilers here. And we're going to follow these Alaskan field mice through the vent. We have our first little tricky bit coming up as well. We need to get to the elevator in the tank hangar without getting spotted. We're going to throw a chaff grenade to distract a guard. On extreme difficulty, the placement of the chaff is very different from any other difficulty because guards' line of sight is significantly increased on extreme. They can see very, very long distances. On extreme, we also don't get a radar. You'll notice there's no soliton radar in the top right-hand corner. But also, Snake doesn't get any health back whenever he beats bosses and ranks up. So I'm going to run over here, throw that chaff grenade about there, wait, and move here. Hope that I've got around the guard. No, he's spotted me. Okay, so we're just going to quickly take a death. The quickest way of resetting this is to take a death. It's a very, very tight window with that one. However, the flip side of it is on the reverse, when we reload, all of the guards are in different positions now. And on the second time round, you can just run to the elevator and there's no guards to get in your way. So that one's not a particularly bad reset. So we come down into the B1, basement 1. The DARPA chief is on the other side of that right wall. And we're supposed to go and rescue him, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do what's called a vent glitch, where we go out of bounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn right. Oh, a little high up. And we are now in prison.
Well, that's what you get for doing glitches. You're in speedrun jail.
Absolutely, we have indeed been put in speedrun jail. Now, for those of you who don't know Metal Gear Solid and have never seen that before, we have just skipped about half of the game. This is an area that normally you wouldn't come to in a speed run for another half an hour, 40 minutes. It is a massive skip. We have skipped the Ocelot boss fight, the tank fight, the Psycho Mantis fight, the ninja fight, and Sniper Wolf 1. Got a phone call to answer here. And then I have climbed under this bed, or crawled under this bed deliberately. The guard that's run off to the toilet is Johnny Sasaki. You may know him if you've played Metal Gear Solid 4. He returns as a main character in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, very popular side character.
Very, very popular side character. Johnny here goes on a patrol. But if we disrupt his patrol by doing this little trick, his patrol doesn't go on as long. Normally, if you don't interrupt him with this, he'll walk backwards and forwards a couple of times. He'll actually stop and fall asleep where he stood. But all we do is just wait for him to go past the 4th diamond on that window there, start crawling out. He was alerted there because he didn't know where Snake was. He thought Snake had escaped, but we then interrupt that and say, no, we are here. You can soft lock the game very easily there if you allow Johnny to come into the prison cell and then you kill him. You then can't escape because you can't get through that door there because that's a level 6 door and we have no card key at the moment. We do have all of our weapons and equipment that we had before we did the vent glitch, which you shouldn't normally have. But the reason that the vent clip and skipping all of that works is because the very next thing that's going to happen is Otacon's going to come and give us the level 6 card. And there's only one little bit of backtracking that we need to do to fix the fact that we've skipped so much. This is the torture section where you decide whether you beat the game with Meryl or Otacon.
You win.
As we're doing a speed run, it's faster to escape with Otacon and skip the torture. The torture is also not particularly pleasant to watch. But this still retains the PlayStation's original difficulty when it comes to torture. And as such, particularly on Extreme, it is physically impossible for me to survive torture.
I hope you can still look at yourself
I am not
in the mirror.
the greatest masher of buttons anyway. I could use turbo and that would be fine. But it kind of ruins the fun out of what the mashing was for in the first place. We get put back in the prison cell. We now have all of our equipment taken away from us because an actual in-game event has happened. So Johnny's going to go for another wonder. So we are just in here waiting for a little bit. We can see our equipment over there, and we are going to try and escape. But we've got nothing to do now until Otacon comes and attempts to rescue us. So I'll hand it over to you for a couple of minutes, Mina.
Yeah, absolutely. We did get a donation / personal attack on my sanity in from Hockey Babbler for $11.11. And oops, all ones. Sorry to anyone who likes round numbers. Guess you'll have to donate to fix it. So yeah, I like round numbers. I mean, what like 1111.11 is also kind of a round number in its own way, but I don't know. That one did go to the Save Mr. Mustache incentive for Princess Peach Showtime, which is our next goal that's currently open. So if you want to save Mr. Mustache, that's the one that you want to go for. You can also make sure to select one of the many bid war options. You can donate to both a goal and a poll on Tiltify. And all of that is going towards Point of Pride. They're a great trans-led organization that does a lot of great stuff for the trans community here in the United States and in 100+ other countries around the world. So make sure you get those in. And speaking of Otacon, there he is. How about that?
Great timing. So Otacon is not particularly brave and doesn't want to attempt to prison escape, but Snake suggests to him, you're going to have to take him out. And he's like, take him out? I'm not a soldier. Instead, he gives us this bottle of ketchup. I'm going to drop this bottle of ketchup on the floor. I'm going to equip the level 6 card and unequip it. And when Johnny comes back, he's going to see the he's going to see the ketchup on the floor, thinking it's blood and that Snake has had a terrible accident. And that's how we're going to trick him. This is a very, very non-canon run. Meryl will die because we skip torture. And we said that Johnny makes a reappearance in Metal Gear Solid 4. Well, not in this version, he doesn't. Sorry, Johnny. And we can now escape. We'll grab our equipment. Not that we have a lot of equipment. We've got a chaff grenade, I think. 2 chaff grenades. And get on out of there. So we do have one slight bit of backtracking because we have no weapons, we have no equipment. Because we came straight in here. So we do need to go down to the B2 floor and grab the PSG-1. This is a bit of a tight room. We've got to throw this guards. There's going to be a guard patrolling here, which makes sure that we don't get seen by. There's some lasers there. Luckily, we know where the lasers are. We've got a little bit of time here because we're going to have to wait for another guard. So we're fine as long as we get through. So we grabbed the PSG-1. You may have noticed that it said red and it said full ammo. That is because Snake's current max ammo allowance for the PSG-1 is 0. For most weapons in the game, Snake starts at 0 max ammo, and every time you beat a boss and rank up, your max ammo goes up. We haven't beaten any bosses yet, so the game doesn't recognize that we can have any ammo for the PSG-1. But we still need to collect it, and the game does now recognize that we have collected and we have it. We just have no ammo for it.
So as a quick sidebar, I did not realize that skipping all that also flagged the lasers in the garage exit to
That
turn
is
off.
correct.
That's very handy.
Yes, there's the tank. You remember the tank fight that we did earlier?
Yeah,
So
definitely,
I
yeah.
lobbed, the grenades were in perfectly. It was such a good fight. We left that tank in a miserable state. We've entered here for the first time after the tank has been defeated, and so that is our first rank up. The game has now recognized that we've ranked up for the first time. We get told that we can't use weapons in here, so we're a quick codec to skip.
The guards can, though. It's a double standard.
It is a bit, yeah. We'll run around here. We want to grab some more chaff grenades that are over in this top left-hand corner. And then we just need to wait for the guard up there to turn around. Give him a bit of a flip. Do what's called a quick throw there. You may have noticed I actually did a sort of a quick choke on Johnny as well. If you equip a weapon whilst doing a throw or doing a choke, it will cancel the animation. So you may have noticed when I threw that guard, I immediately re-equipped my chaff grenade, and it cancelled Snake's animation. He was able to move on a lot quicker. Grab the Nikita. We need the Nikita to beat Vulcan Raven later. We'll also grab some spare stun grenades as well, because we're coming up to possibly the most famous skip in Metal Gear Solid 1. It's called the Boba Skip, and the Boba Skip was only discovered, I want to say two years ago now, I think it was, by Boba Witch of Yogscast. She was playing her first ever casual playthrough on stream and accidentally found the Boba Skip, which I won't spoil because we'll see it in a mo. I'm going to equip the scarf. The scarf smells like Sniper Wolf. It was given to us by Otacon, and it means that the doggos there think that we're Sniper Wolf, so won't attack us, which is really good. We really don't want to be taking any damage in this run. Swap to some grenades. And prepare for the Boba Skip. So the way the Boba Skip is going to work, I'm going to throw a grenade through the door first of all, which is not actually part of the skip. We've always done that. That triggers an alert early. It skips a small cutscene. And then we are going to get through the frozen door on level 9. You shouldn't be able to get through it. We do have the correct card key, but it's frozen shut. You should go all the way up to the top of the tower, rappel down the side, and then you can use C4 to blow up the door and make it accessible again. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get Snake to intentionally take damage and hope he plays one of 2 damage recoil animations. If he plays the correct one, then his recoil animation will force his hitbox to hit the trigger on the other side of the door. Now, I hope you caught all that. There is going to be a quiz later.
Yeah.
So it is pretty straightforward. So keep climbing the stairs. We're going to start throwing some stun grenades. We're going to throw the first stun grenade at floor 5, which is here. Gets us past this guy, this guards. I'm going to throw my next stun grenade here. It's going to slow the guards down. And it is a 50-50 chance as to which animation plays. Line it up. Charge a stun and hope. First try!
Let's go.
I am living the best life ever because I beat the video game. I am living the best life ever because I am out of the stairwell of shame. I am the best at video games. That is the Boba Skip song. That is the song that Boba sang when she first discovered that skip, and I sing it every single time.
Yeah, that tower climb casually is definitely one of the harder parts of the game, especially on the harder difficulties. It's really, really rough.
Absolutely. I've actually gone back to revisit it in the hopes of getting a big boss rank, because one thing that the boba skip stops is another heal. Before the repel, Snake heals back to full health, and we completely lose that. But anyway, the next skip is here. This one's another bit of a doozy. So this is called the weapon glitch. I have not got it right first try. So I need to try one more time. If this doesn't work now, it will mean take a death and reset. So we sort of make some movements there. I think I got that wrong. Yeah, I did. Okay. This one is a tricky one. So we're just gonna take a death and reset, because otherwise Snake will not have enough health to continue the game.
Well, while you guys do all that again, do we have time for donations?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so we got 2 that came in the last couple minutes. $10 from Francis says Psycho Moses, which, true. That went towards the sailor outfit. And then $12.34 from Mecha Link, who apparently loves chaos, who just says, I also played MGS1 on the 2000 PC port, so it's my canon version. Also, let's get quite unrounded. See you Saturday evening, Mina, which is true. I will be on the couch for Virtual Highlight while I run the restream, which I believe is a Power Up with Pride first. That's going to be real scuffed, and if it's going to be any run, of course, it's Virtual Highlight. But I digress. We're trying the weapon skip again, it looks like.
Yes. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to trick the game into thinking that the stinger... Yay! There we go. That the stinger is actually a chaff grenade. So we do that by trying to hit an input on a specific frame after getting up from taking damage. So it's not random. It's not a random chance, but it is frame perfect. So that's why it's often quite tricky to land, and sometimes you do have to try it multiple times. But what that allows us to do is we've now deleted the stinger from our inventory. So with the stinger in hand, pretending it's a chaff grenade, I then armed it, cooked it, and allowed it to explode in my hand. That turns the stinger, because it thinks it's a grenade, and grenades can deplete from your inventory. If you use a weapon, I think I've still got one. Yes. There we go. If you use a weapon and go down to 0 ammo, the weapon will still appear in your inventory, but grenades don't. Any throwables are removed from your inventory if you're at 0. So because we threw the stinger as though it was a grenade, the game has removed it from our inventory. All we've done now is come up to the top here to reset the room. What should have happened as we went round that corner, it should have played a cutscene with Otacon, where Otacon's moved some boxes around so that we can come up here and fight the Hind D. We're not going to fight the Hind D because we've got no stinger. We're just using this to reset the room. When we reset the room here, the game looks at our inventory and goes, you don't have the stinger in your inventory now. That therefore means that we need the room to be in state A, the very first state that the game that the room should be in. And the important thing about that is the boxes have returned. I now need to throw some grenades. Quickly run back up and do that one again. These are quite precise grenades. There we go. I cannot get shot here. Just gonna keep running down the stairs. On the next one. Throw. That's better. There we go. So the boxes that stop Snake from being able to get up the staircase without the Otacon cutscene will have returned. We're not supposed to be on this side of them, because you shouldn't be able to get around them. And as such, the game we can use the game's lack of a Z-axis to our advantage. So by swapping to no weapons, standing about here and going down, might take a couple of pretty exact positioning, but Snake will stand on top of the boxes, sort of force perspective kind of trick. Come on, Snake, you can do it. I believe in you. Don't be shy. Come on. Doesn't usually... There we go! And by doing that, we can jump off the side, go all the way down to the bottom. There's no fall damage, because the game doesn't expect Snake to be dropping great distances. Do you just need to hope that I get past that camera? Excellent. And with that, we have skipped the Hind D, we have skipped the elevator fight, and we can go straight on to Sniper Wolf. Now, we still don't have any PSG-1 ammo. So we can't fight Sniper Wolf. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the weapon glitch one more time. Instead of trying to delete an item, we're going to try and get the game to think that we can run around with the sniper rifle. And when Snake has the sniper rifle equipped, the invisible barrier that separates him from Sniper Wolf is removed. So same again, loads of inputs, equip the PSG-1, and just walk through the barrier. That was first try that time. That was a much nicer weapon glitch. So that's Sniper Wolf. The final thing to do, though, is we do have one little bit of backtracking to do. We still don't have the Stinger, and we do need the Stinger in order to fight Metal Gear Rex later. So we've just got to quickly run back upstairs and grab it. Luckily, it's not a big backtrack. We don't have to do the elevator fight. The game considers the elevator fight already done. The way that the game works is it works on a set of story flags, and those story flags are extremely strict. If you, for some reason, skip a story flag, it's gone forever. It's not like in something like Dark Souls, you can beat bosses in any order because it doesn't depend on which boss it is in the right order. Metal Gear Solid is extremely strict on the order of things, and progressing one will skip everything that you've missed before.
Yeah, good for speedrunners at least.
It is really good. This run is kind of perfect in the way that it works out. The fact that we can do the vent glitch and the very next thing that happens is Snake gets given the card key that he needs. If that didn't happen, we'd softlock. You wouldn't be able to go anywhere and you'd be trapped. The fact that we get to it after doing that, we don't have the Stinger, we can't use it, so we can't fight the Hindy, and there just happens to be this trick so that we can skip the Hindy as well. It's everything sort of came together for this run really, really nicely. The original PC release in 2000 has a very different route when it gets to Tower B. It has an out of bounds trick that is exclusive to that version of the game, and that whole section's a lot faster. But it is a very messy, buggy game. We're going to skip to the stun grenades here and move into disc 2. As we're playing the Master Collection, it gives us this nice little disc swap animation, which plays automatically. We don't have to do it ourselves. There we go. Disc 2. All I got to do is hit start, so we move on.
Yeah, shout outs to everyone being confused about how to swap discs, because it was one of the first PlayStation games to do that back in the day.
Certainly was.
Had no idea you had to leave the PlayStation powered on while you did that. It took me 2 hours to figure it out.
Oh, arm that grenade a bit. Oh, that's fine. That's good. So we used a trick there called the stun trick. Oh, I don't think I killed that guard. I'm gonna die here, aren't I? Yes.
Stormtrooper in there for a second.
That was unexpected. All right, quickly run that one back.
What? That's all right. While you backtrack for 30 whole seconds, just to remind everyone what's going on here. This is Fireside Pride 2024. We are raising money for Point of Pride. They're a trans-led nonprofit that offers their services to trans folks in all 50 states and 100 plus other countries around the world as well. They do a lot of great work. If you go !charity, you can learn more about them. If you want to donate, !donate. !incentives to see what incentives and goals we currently have going on. There's a lot of stuff to do. Thank you, Nick, for dying again so that I could continue talking about what we're all doing here.
You're very welcome.
But yeah, this is a really interesting part of the game mechanically, like casually and as a speedrun, because there's a fair bit of backtracking in a couple minutes with the Val key, which is super cool. But I don't know.
Okay, we should be good now. It's with the stun grenade exploding outside the door. That prevents the guards on the inside from triggering an alert. Allows us to throw that grenade to destroy. Yes, to destroy the crane. So that's a lot quicker to get past. Run into this room. We're going to run back out again and run back in. It's because there's an elevator that slowly makes its way up, but it's quicker to leave the room and go back in. And when we come back in the second time, the elevator will already be waiting for us. The only way of getting rations in Extreme is if they randomly drop from an enemy. I was very pleased that one and only opportunity during the run to get a spare ration resulted in one.
This is another big gate for challenge around casual runs if you're playing on a harder difficulty. This elevator sequence is rough.
It is just typical. The one time where I do randomly get the extra ration, I didn't need it because I managed to do that fight without taking any damage. If I'd not used the ration, one hit from one of those guards, and I would have been toast. Going to throw a chaff grenade here because there is a gun camera there, which is random. That gun camera starts its position in a random position every time, so you never quite know where it's going to aim and whether it's going to hit you or not. It's just safer. There's very, very finicky ways of trying to get around it, no matter what position it's in. But it's a lot safer, particularly on a marathon, to just throw a chaff grenade and get past it. So yeah, we are on our way down towards Raven. Which is the first boss that we're actually going to fight. We have skipped so many other boss fights in the game, either through not even interacting with them, or in the case of Sniper Wolf 2, just ignoring the fight. But Raven is the first fight that we're actually going to do. We're not going to do it properly. We're still going to cheese it. We're going to use a very particular position where Snake's Nikita shots have enough iframes to consistently hit Raven before Raven can shoot them out of the air. That might sound a little confusing. It makes sense when you see it. So I'm going to skip the cutscenes, immediately swap to the Nikita. Then I want to move up and left into this position about here. Turn. And that position looks good. And now we just rinse and repeat. So normally you can't fire Nikita missiles at Raven like this, because he will just shoot them out of the sky. But in this position, we have just enough time and with the turn to continue to just pelt him. And it also stops Raven from moving on. If you miss a shot, Raven will start running down, and that'll be the end of the fight, and he'll come around and shoot us. But that is a very nice, clean Raven fight.
Love to see it.
We get another rank up. You'll notice because we're on extreme, Snake's max health goes up, but his current health stays the same. That's the big thing that makes extreme, particularly for any percent, such a tricky run. Because there's so many times where we have to take damage. You know, we have to do 2 lots of the weapon glitch. We have to do the boba skip. all of that is mandatory damage. And if you're going for big boss rank, this run died for big boss rank very, very early on. It's not something I've ever managed to do myself. But if you're going for big boss rank, you are only allowed to use one ration in the entire run. In fact, the full stats that you have to hit for big boss are 4 or less alerts, which on any percent means you're allowed one free one. On any percent, there are 3 mandatory alerts, and you're allowed 1 freebie. If you're doing all bosses, then there's no freebies because we skip one of them. I can tell you, I am currently on 4 alerts. So I'm actually on big boss pace for alerts, but not for anything else. You're allowed up to 25 kills, which I'm only on 7, so I'm fine on kills. It's rare that you'd get anywhere near the max threshold of kills. You're only allowed to use 1 ration, and I've used 3. You are not allowed any continue, so no deaths, no saves, and I believe you have to beat the game in under 3 hours, I want to say, which obviously for speedrunning is not a problem. But,
yeah, that was actually something that I meant to ask you, was about the ranks. Like if everything goes well for you on an any percent extreme run, like what rank do you normally wind up with?
If you did it perfectly, without any errors and without needing the extra ration, then you can get big boss. But it's very, very tight because of the health. I am gonna do a safety strat here. I'm gonna shoot that guard. And he dropped a ration. Excellent. So we've got 1 spare ration just in case. So for me, because I won't be getting perfect stats, I should be getting the rank Eagle, which is basically just beat the game very, very quickly, but without what you would need for big boss, which is pretty standard for an extreme run. An Eagle sounds quite nice. It's better than doing an easy run and finishing on Pigeon. There is a very, very tight death avoidance here. We're going to get an alert. But I had more health than I normally would have at this point because I used a ration. But that is another very easy spot to just fail a run. If I hadn't used the spare ration, I probably would only have enough hit points for 1 hit, and that would have been it. That would have been another death. But that is one of the game's mandatory alerts. So we're now heading back down the underground base, because when we had the cutscene up in the control room, Ocelot shot the PAL key out of our hands. And because I am on less than 11 alerts, it meant that when the PAL key dropped all the way down here, it got eaten by a rat. We have to find that rat and kill it. Hopefully, it's here. It's not here. So that the rat is in one of 3 random locations. That position, there it is. I missed it several times because I kept shooting the floor. So now we're going to hope that it comes back out here again. I've only got 1 stinger as well. So now we just have to wait for it to re-emerge. It should eventually come back out here again. There it is. Right, let's not miss it this time. There we go. Got it this time.
Yeah, this entire sequence with setting up the PAL key for the override is a great example of the weird out-of-the-box stuff that Kojima does with his game design. Is having to go back to the different rooms to transform it because of the temperature differences is not the sort of thing anyone else would think to do.
This game actually borrows very heavily from the previous game in the series, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was originally released in 1993, I want to say, for the MSX computer. For a lot of it, Metal Gear Solid 1 is kind of a 3D remake. It, as I say, it borrows heavily, and there is a similar temperature trick used in that game as well. Luckily, it doesn't go on anywhere near as long as this one. We're going to do a little bit of skating there to get to this guard without him hearing. This grate... Oh, he spotted me right at the end there, but that's fine. The grating that we're on makes a clacking noise as Snake runs over it, and guards will hear that. And that will cause them to turn and check what's going on. But by skating, which is equipping and unequipping your weapon very quickly, it resets Snake's walking animation or running animation, and means that he never puts his foot down on the floor. So we're going to do that again here. You'll notice that Snake's foot isn't really moving. So because he never puts his foot down on the floor, it completely cancels out the noise. It's really handy for getting across these catwalks. So now we've put the PAL key into the first computer. It was at room temperature. So now we need to go and freeze the keys. We need to go back to a location where it was really, really cold. Wait there for 61 seconds. The PAL key will freeze, and then we run all the way back up and do it again. And if you remember, the room where we fought Vulcan Raven was very, very cold. So that is where we are running back to now. And yeah, this is the long backtrack section of the run, which in any percent does make up a big chunk of the run. In an all bosses run, it's not quite as big a chunk. There is a remake of this game. People shout out and they say, "Oh yeah, why remake Metal Gear Solid 1? We want a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake." There already was. There was a GameCube exclusive remake called Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. It was not particularly well received. It was directed and produced by a different team, and the cutscenes in particular are very, very outlandish, over the top and silly. Even for a Kojima game, they are over the top and silly. But it makes for a very, very good speedrun. If you've heard my name before, it might be because I did speedrun Twin Snakes for Summer Games Done Quick 2023. My only live appearance at an SGDQ, because I do live in the UK, as you might tell from my British accent. So we're just waiting the 65 seconds for the card key to freeze. But one of the nice things that Twin Snakes does is it completely removes this backtracking section. Instead of having to go all the way back to these areas, there's a set of pipes over on the far right corner of the room. One pipe freezes the key instantly, and the other pipe heats the key instantly. Just to wait for that chaff grenade to go off. There we go. Just grabbing some spare stinger ammo there for the Rex fight. The Rex fight takes up a lot of stinger ammo, so that's another safety grab there. So now we're going to go all the way back and put the cold card key in. And if you haven't worked out by now, once we've done that, we're going to go and have to go back and heat the card key. And you may remember that a place that was really, really hot was the blast furnace at the top of the elevators. So an even longer backtrack.
That's just outrageous. I can't believe the blast furnace is hot.
And this is why, in some ways, I do prefer the Twin Snakes speedrun.
But with all the backtracking, that is a great opportunity to remind everyone what we're all doing here.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. If you're just recently tuning in, this is Power Up with Pride. We are currently running our Fireside Pride 2024 event. If you've watched Winter Pride in the past, same event, we just rebranded it. And we are running in support of A Point of Pride. They're a trans-led 501c3 organization, a non-profit, and they do a lot of great work for the trans community here in the United States and 100+ other countries as well. They have several different scholarship-like programs that the money we raise can go towards funding. They have an annual transgender surgery fund, an HRT access fund, and an electrolysis support fund, which are all very important services for trans folks. They offer free chest binders and fem shapewear for those who need that. And then they also have the Thrive Fund, which is just a general fund for all the other stuff that doesn't really fall into a big enough category on its own. Things like updating your ID, um, you know, voice therapy, stuff like that. You can type !donate to get the link to donate if you have the money to spare. And all that money, again, goes towards all those different funds that they run. We also have several exclamation point incentives open right now that you could be donating towards. Right now, we're working towards rescuing Mr. Mustache in Princess Peach Showtime. There are also several different costumes that you can bid on for both that Princess Peach Showtime run and the Backpack Hero run, which is going to come up before Princess Peach Showtime. So if you have any strong opinions about the outfit and saving Mr. Mustache, you can actually get both of those knocked out on the same donation. Make sure you select both when you're doing so, because Tiltify will not let you change it after the fact, unfortunately. We have learned that the hard way already once today. But yeah, definitely spread the word as well on social media. Exclamation point socials will show you all the places that you can find us. And then, of course, just shoot a link to the Twitch. Just being here and watching us helps more than you can know, even if you don't have any money to spare. Like, money is hard this time of the year, especially with all the winter holidays happening right at the same time. So, we get it. But $1,133 and change so far, and we're not even halfway through like our first full day. That's amazing,
fantastic
y'all.
start.
Yeah, no, we're like making such great progress already. We've already unlocked some great incentives. This was actually one of our incentives. The 90% Extreme was originally a $300 incentive, and we knocked that out in just a couple of donations from a few very generous folks. So definitely take a look at the schedule. There's a lot more incentives coming. There's a lot more great runs throughout the weekend. Exclamation point schedule will get you that. So take a look at that. Make a note of the ones that you want to try to watch live. If you can't watch them live, you can always catch the VODs later here on Twitch or on our YouTube channel after the event. You got plenty of time to watch them in that case. But I think we're about back to the blast furnace at this point. We have one more elevator ride.
One more elevator and we'll be up in the blast furnace. We have to be a little careful in the blast furnace. There are some we need to get some more stinger ammo. There are some steam valves, but I said before that it takes 61 seconds for the POW key to heat. However, there's like this little boiler room which we're going to go through a couple of times, and every time you go through one of the doors, the loading time pauses the 65-second timer. It doesn't pause the IGT. I have the IGT running on LiveSplit, so I can see exactly how long the section is, so I know when to leave. But I can't rely on that because of this little loading screen. So it's very easy to leave this area early. If you leave this area early and you go all the way back and try and put the POW key in, it's a very, very long backtrack to do it again. So we won't be doing that. We will be making sure... I want to throw a chaff grenade. We'll be making sure that we double check the key before we leave. We've got the body armor there, which we can use for the Metal Gear fight, but it's not really necessary. And then we just want to run back without getting hit by any of the steam. There's only 2 steam valves that will actually hurt us. That's the first one. That one doesn't. That one also can. So just wait for that one as well. We've got plenty of time. We're only at 40 seconds. Oh, that one did. Luckily, it's not a lot of damage, so we're not too worried. We're at 45 seconds now. It's just going to stand here. You can use visual cues and audio cues. The visual cue I do also like to use is this guard. This guard's going to get to the bottom of the stairs and he's going to turn left. That should indicate that we are ready to go. Not quite. Now we should be good. No.
3rd time's the charm. Okay. 4th.
There we go, and that just shows you how much those little loading screens actually make a difference. They're also random, depending on exactly what frame you enter the screens on, will change the amount of time it takes off. So you can't. It's not like you can just say, "Oh, I've gone through the loading screen 4 times, because we go in and out twice. So that's going to add 40 frames. It's random on what frame number you go in, so it's very unreliable. And we don't use live split. Live split's VAR to look at what the current state of the PAL key is. That's not something we're allowed to do either.
Well, you know what is reliable though, Nick?
Go on.
The generosity of our community here. We got another donation that just came in, $15. I think this is French, so feel free to yell at me if I pronounce it wrong. But the Jaded Mo, I think that's it. $15 comment, purple smiley face, and that went towards Princess Peach Showtime. I assume the purple dress. Those donation incentives are currently open for those bid wars for the dresses, and saving Mr. Mustache is a goal. You can donate to both of those. There's also the Backpack Hero outfits. If y'all have strong opinions about drip, that's the time to start donating. So the Ravens are back now, huh?
They are, yes. They don't do much on this one. You can actually get killed by them in Twin Snakes. In Twin Snakes, it kind of makes a Legend of Zelda nod. If you attack one raven, all of the ravens will then pile on you, a bit like the chickens attacking you in Ocarina of Time. The Twin Snakes version does have quite a few Nintendo nods and Easter eggs as a result. It is still worth a playthrough. If you're a fan of Metal Gear and you haven't played the Twin Snakes, definitely give it a go. But please, if you're going to play the original Metal Gear Solid, play the Master Collection. Don't play the original PC port.
Yeah, in addition to the cutscenes being changed in Twin Snakes, a lot of people have strong opinions about being able to aim everything in first person, because the game is very clearly not designed around being able to do that, and it kind of changes the way that you can attack certain scenes. So that's something else to keep in mind. That's very subjective, though.
The best way to describe Twin Snakes is it's Metal Gear Solid 1 remade in the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, and the big problem with that is that the level design and boss design of Metal Gear Solid 1 was not designed with the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine in mind. It was designed with the Metal Gear Solid 1 engine in mind. So there's a couple of improvements. Personally, I do think that the tank fight is much better in Twin Snakes, but it is universally agreed that the Ocelot fight in Twin Snakes is just awful. It is a very, very bad fight. We are now finally getting towards the end of the PAL key sequence. We're going to climb up a couple of these ladders, get past the guard again, and we will go and put in the third PAL key. We've been collecting these PAL keys and putting them into the computers to stop the nuclear launch. Snake has learned that the terrorists are ready to launch a nuke from Metal Gear, which we just climbed over there. And the PAL key sequence is the way of shutting it down. So we're going to put the third PAL key in, stop the nuclear launch, and save the day. And that'll be it, right? That'll be the end of the game.
Yeah, that's how I remember this game going.
That is definitely what we're going to do. Except if you do recognize my sarcasm, we now learn that Master Miller, that we've been talking to this whole time, is not Master Miller at all. It's Liquid Snake, Snake's twin brother.
Evil twin. Important distinction.
Evil twin. There we go. Did you like his sunglasses? And the terrorists were never able to launch, but the PAL key sequence is also a way of turning it on. So instead of disabling it, Snake has now actually enabled it, and the terrorists are now able to launch a nuclear missile. We just wait here for Otacon to open the door. We go into first person because as soon as the call comes through, the game takes the first person away from us. We can answer immediately. Blink and you'll miss Liquid. There he runs. And now we get our first really difficult and taxing boss fight. This is Metal Gear Rex. I'm going to move into position. I'm going to be leaning to avoid damage. I'm going to concentrate on this bit of the fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Stinger. Fire as soon as he starts roaring. Fire again, and then lean. So if you're in first person, you can use L1 and R1 to lean, and it will completely ignore damage. So all we're doing is firing, going into first person, leaning to avoid the attacks. I missed that one, as you might have. I missed that one, that's okay. We do have a spare ration. So that's phase 1 of Metal Gear Rex. We now have this unskippable cutscene. This is Grey Fox. You remember when we fought Grey Fox earlier? Like this really cool fist fight. He's a cyborg ninja.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, it was really intense. Grey Fox is one of the final bosses of the previous game, Metal Gear 2. And he's sort of back from the dead in order to sort of take his revenge on Snake, to have one final fight. So the second half of this fight sort of runs very similarly to the first one. I'm just going to use that spare ration while we grab it. But I can't just stand still for this one, so I'm going to fire a couple of shots and then just move slightly just to get out of the way of those shots. Missed that one, it's fine. Then just a little bit of movement. Lean. That's better. Wasn't actually hitting him. There we go. That should be it. And that is Metal Gear Rex. A little bit of a messier second half. The second half is always a little trickier because you have to be moving around. We're now going into the final boss fight of the game. This is the fist fight against Liquid Snake. And what I'm going to be attempting is called the Infinite Liquid Punch. By only punching and never doing a punch kick, we should be able to keep Liquid in a state where he is unable to move and is constantly taking punches. In order to do so, I need to be able to listen to the rhythm of my punches on my controller. So I will be muting my own audio. I won't be able to hear the game. I also won't be able to hear you, Mina. So you can say whatever you like during this section. I won't be able to hear it. This little bit's unskippable. So I am muting my audio now.
If you win,
Good luck.
you might still be able to save her.
I'll also stay quiet, so you're free to, and I won't
You
talk
could
over you.
enjoy one brief moment of love.
And of course,
before the
here
end.
is non-canon Dead Meryl, because
you
this is not
cross
the
this
canon ending
line,
of the game, of course. If you
fall.
played Metal Gear Solid 4, we
At
know
this
she is alive and
height,
well, so
it will
it's
kill
Johnny, so,
even
you know.
you.
I believe Nick said earlier that he is playing on controller, but we can clarify that once we get out of this fight, and we'll engage in a little bit of fisticuffs. Be a very difficult fight casually, for sure. Because, you don't know about this little punching trick. Of course, you're going to do the 3-hit combo, and he resets after every one of those. Yeah, we can clarify the controller when Nick is unmuted. But this is clean, though. He's working on like a speed bag. Look at that, chat. Oh, easy every time.
There we go.
Very nice, Nick.
A little bit messy. Obviously, the idea is to try and get it all done in one go, but it's a bit finicky with the way it works. Trying to swap between double and single punches. But I'm pleased with that. Getting through that in one attempt without taking a death is the important bit in that. So I'm relatively happy with that.
Yeah.
So now we are on the escape.
I got him. Let's go.
I'm going to take out this guards. I'm going to hop in the back of the truck and shoot our way out. We still have a couple of corridors to go through. Somebody isn't dead yet, so we're going to have another little fight. But time will be coming up very soon.
Yeah, another very difficult section of the game casually when you're on hard and extreme.
take out those 2 guards. We're going to line up on that column. That sets us up right nicely for the second checkpoint. Second checkpoint's got 3 guards, but no barrels to explode them on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go.
Very nice.
So we have the final section of the game. This is the final fight against Liquid. Liquid does have a health bar, but it's hidden in the game. We can't see it, so we just have to shoot him a certain number of times. I think it's 30 actually. And this is just going to involve sort of strafing a bit, and we're going to go into different phases. But he is very, very quick to adjust. I have to be quite precise with when I turn, otherwise he'll duck too early, or if I'm too late, he'll shoot me too early. Try and get these shots as we transition in between phases. I got both of them, that's nice. We want a quick shot during this phase, just as the truck's about to hit, start shooting, and we get a quick shot in there, which is a nice little time save as well. Missed that one, so we'll try and get this one. Nope, missed that one. Come on. There we go, we got that one. That's nice. And we move into phase 3. Back to the side strafing. Oh. There we go. Should move into phase 4. Yep, moving into phase 4 now. So try and get the 2 transition shots. Beautiful. 10 hits left, 9 hits left. We get the action shot here. If you're in the right position there, you should be able to just continue in that side position. And final phase. 3, 2, 1. One more hit. It's not quite timed just yet, but that is the final hit. Getting 1 extra one for luck. And time will be when the nuclear warhead statistics come up, because we've got 1 more codec to skip, 1 more cutscene to skip, 1 more set of cutscenes to skip, and then the credits will start. The credits start with a little bit of information about real life nuclear warheads, and that is when we call time. Certainly, that's when I call time for a marathon. If you're actually doing a run, you'd watch the whole of the credits, because the time actually ends on the rank screen at the end. But we don't do that for a marathon. We don't want to watch credits, but that should be time. And
Yeah,
that is Metal Gear Solid 1 any% Extreme. This is this is a relatively easy run to get into. If you're doing easy, it's a relatively easy run to get into. Certainly, if you're interested in the Metal Gear series, Metal Gear Solid 1 is a very good starting point for the series. The original PC port's a little easier, but it's a bit difficult to get into that one. I do have a tutorial on YouTube for the original PC port, which is a good way of then transitioning into the console version instead. Yeah. I've been NickRPGreen. You can find me in all the usual places: Twitch, Blue Sky, YouTube. Just search NickRPGreen anywhere. I'm currently doing my own project where I'm going to be running all 5 games in the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection back to back. I'm doing that run Saturday, the 21st of December. So yeah, come and check me out if that sounds like something you're interested in. But a huge thank you to everyone who donated for the Extreme incentive. And thank you once again to Power Up with Pride for having me back for another marathon. It has been an absolute pleasure once again.
Yeah, thank you again, Nick, for that amazing showcase. Thank you for offering up that incentive, and thank everyone again for donating to make that incentive happen. We had $300 to cross to get this incentive met, and we blew through it. Like, it opened, and well before the deadline, we met that one. So thank you
Amazing.
again, everyone, for donating towards this harder difficulty. This is such a beautiful song. Unfortunately, I think we need to keep things moving, so we're not going to be able to listen to it, but definitely watch it on your own time. Shoutouts to Police Nuts, another great Kojima game. Yeah, amazing run, Nick. Thank you again
Thank
for
you.
showcasing this and showing it off. There was one question, real quick, that I wanted to clarify with you
Oh yeah.
in the chat. What controller do you use?
I use a DualSense.
Okay, that's what
Um,
someone else said, but we wanted to double check.
One of the big advantages of the PC version is because it's played on Steam, you can use Steam input to really easily configure controls and add turbo. So highly recommend playing this on Steam just for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great that Konami is re-releasing all these games on PC because the last re-release they got before the most recent Master Collection was, I believe, the Legacy Collection on PS3, which, as we all know, is not backwards compatible with any of the current PlayStation systems. So it's been locked away for a while. But I
The,
digress. We're gonna take a short break and get ready for our next run. We're also gonna be doing a host handoff because this is the end of my hosting shift. So don't go too far. We're gonna get set up for our next host and our next run, and we'll see everyone back here in just a bit for more Fireside Pride 2024. All right, everyone, they're still getting ready for that next run, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. And while they're setting up for the next run, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you all to get up, stretch, grab a drink, do what you need to do, take care of yourselves. This is a great opportunity to do that while we get set up for our next run. And again, I am signing off. I'm going to be passing the host duties on over to another one of my favorite people, Dijon Ketchup, and she'll be taking you through the next couple of runs. As far as me, you know, I'm Mina_Angra on most things. I'll be hosting again tomorrow for the end of the rhythm block, starting with Necrodancer. I'll be restreaming behind the scenes and on the couch for Virtual Highlight, and then hosting one more time on Sunday. So for all the Mina stands out there, there's still plenty more of me the next few days. And for everyone who doesn't care for me, I'm sorry. And I understand. Trust me, I do. Thank you all again so much for your generosity. Just in the short, I only hosted for 2.5, maybe 3 hours tops. And in that time frame, like we raised right around $500 for Point of Pride. That is so amazing. Again, cannot emphasize this enough. We cannot do what we do without your generosity, without everyone being here watching, without the runners and the volunteers who help put the event on. Everyone here, whether you're running, volunteering, watching, donating, if you're here, if you're part of the event in any way, shape, or form, you're doing more good than you can possibly understand for a great cause. So thank you all again for being here. I, once again, would like to invite you all to get up and take care of yourselves. And then whenever the host comes back, it will be Dijon. And hopefully we'll be getting that Link's Awakening run with M-Chan kicked off at that point. But until then, we'll see you, all of you lovely folks, tomorrow evening.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. You are watching Fireside Pride 2024 here on Twitch. We are running from December 12th through December 15th for about 16 hours each day, and we are benefiting Point of Pride. Oh, did I introduce myself? I may have forgotten to do that. I'm Dijon Ketchup. But yes, we are benefiting Point of Pride. If you want to find out more about them, you can find a link to their site in the panels below the stream, or use !charity in chat. And if you're interested in donating, you can type !donate in chat. Find the schedule by using !schedule, or see the incentives with !incentives. Now stay tuned because we got some We got some Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening coming up, run by mchan338. So don't go anywhere, stick around.